What's going on, everybody? It's the not so bearded one back with another beer review, excuse me. It's been a couple of weeks since I've recorded anything. I said this in my Blue Pants IPA review already, but I'm in the midst of waiting on a lapel mic, and then my phone also doesn't have a phone case anymore. So I'm back to the basics. I got my old camera view here, got my phone supported by a couple books. We just got to do what we got to do sometimes to get the content out. Also remember that I said I wasn't going to review anything, do the hardline reviews until my microphone came in. But I'm just itching to get a review out, so sue me if I just feel like I gotta review something. And then I got plenty of IPAs in the fridge, which is weird because, I addressed the IPA domination of the beer market with disdain. I didn't want to ever like IPAs on purpose, and then I'm not sure what happened. I tried that first IPA, the bitter constituent that kicked off this channel. And I'm not going to say I haven't looked back, but after having that IPA, I'm brain farting here. After having that IPA, I just went on a steady journey, a steady exploration of the style. I'm sorry guys, I don't know where my mind's at tonight. It is only 10 o'clock, so I'm not that exhausted. Let's get into it though. This should be a beer I should put on my milestone series. This is Snake Handler by Good People, and I'm pretty sure, I am fairly certain, this is the first IPA I have ever had. Ever. Period. I don't think I've had an IPA before Snake Handler. And I should put this on the milestone series because of that. But I think I'm kind of over that milestone series. I might pick it back up. I might not. I don't know. Don't feel like I was getting a lot of attention with that series. But I'll just go ahead and tell you the story that would have been in the milestone series. I went to a Barons game, a Birmingham Barons game. Birmingham, Alabama, for those of you who aren't familiar with the area. They're a AA baseball team in Birmingham. Went down there to visit a friend. Got a friend that lives in Birmingham, still does. If you watch the channel, shout out to you, Matt. Thanks for being a great friend all these years. But went to go see the Birmingham Barons with said friend. It was Thirsty Thursday, some double-fisted Yinglings or whatever. We're feeling good after the game, and we go right across the street to Good People. Good People's right across the street from the Barons. Really cool setup, really nice location. Good People really hit a home run with that location. And he got a Snake Handler, and he let me try it. And I was like, yeah, it's okay. For a really hop-forward beer, it's okay. I didn't hate it. And for the longest, didn't drink it after that. This will be the second time this will be the third time I've ever had Snake Handler in probably, let's say, a 7-8 year time span. So yeah, that's my history with Snake Handler. I tried to look up the marketing behind this, why they call it Snake Handler, and here's a close-up of the can. It reminds me of those Pentecostal churches in the Appalachian Mountains that you hear about. If you happen to watch this and you live in the Appalachians or you're a Pentecostal, I'm sorry for the stereotype. I don't like to stereotype people, even though I am a stereotypical white male in my 30s reviewing and drinking craft beer. It just reminds me of those snake-handling Pentecostal churches you hear about in the Appalachian Mountains. I'm not saying there's anything good or bad with that, if you are Pentecostal or live in the Appalachian Mountains. just what this can reminds me of. I'm actually intrigued by the marketing, if I hadn't already said that. I want to know why they call it Snake Handler and how it got its name. They didn't put it on the website though. It just gave me a lot of things I should be tasting. If you saw that, I'm sorry for the party foul. This thing looks like a West Coast IPA. Does it say anything about West Coast IPA? Our ode to spirited souls, Snake Handler is a double IPA bursting with all the things you should be smelling. Blah 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 blah. Handle at 45 to 50 degrees. Who knows? It's not the coldest beer in the world. I don't know. I do not know where they got the marketing from, but let's get into this examination, people. It's a very, very deep, rich amber. I got some clarity going on, a little murky there, you know, it's not water or anything, but I can see through it for sure. Again, a rich, deep amber color. Not pearly white. I'm going to say an ivory head. More foamy, not too, you know, more along the German kind of head anyways, you know. Not so thick and tight knit and loose like the Belgians, but it's definitely thicker, creamier foam like the Germans are so good at doing. I see, you know, like a mild carbonation bubbles floating to the top. I almost wouldn't call this carbonated though. So, what do they say is in here? Orangey, piney, floral. Righteous with heaps of American hops. Orangey, piney, floral. I'm pretty sure I got all that. Pretty sure I got all of it. And I got this off a room temperature warm singles rack. Yeah. Floral, orangey, piney. Get all of it. Resinous with that pine. A little bit of, it's just a kiss of that orange that dances deep in there, and then like to round it out, that floral, that sweet flowery floral complexity. Man, this thing smells great. Searching for the malt, they talk about a crackery caramel backbone. Again, I don't like to look at these taster notes. I feel like they mess with my head. So I try to ignore them or try to prove them wrong when I go in there. I just feel like it helps me be a little more honest with myself and where my palate and nose is. I feel like I'm getting the crackery part of the malt, but I'm not getting any caramel in the aroma. I think if I lied to myself, I could smell that caramel, but I'm not going to lie to myself. I want to be honest. Get my full opinion here. Let's get into the best part of a beer review, guys. What an intriguing beer. There's so much going on in here. This is a super duper complex beer. I tried to palate cleanse with peanuts and they were salted, so that's my fault because I'm following a very hoppy beer, following it with a double IPA, so I'm getting nuttiness in there, but I gotta remember that's the peanuts I palate cleansed with. Be careful what you palate cleanse with, because it's gonna mess with your palate. One more time. This thing is bitter though. I feel like there's a very sharp earthy hop thing that catches you at first. So I guess what I can grab onto first mentally is that the caramel, I don't get so much of the cracker because there's just so much strong there's so much strong flavors going on in here, so much obnoxious flavors, that it's hard for me to get into to grasp that crackery part of the malt bill that they claim they use. But I get the caramel, and it's a nice sweet caramel. It's not powerful at all. But it gives a nice backbone, like they say. I hate using malt backbone, that's such a generic term, but it's true. It's a backbone to the beer, and it just rides through the whole sip. Nice, smooth caramel. I don't like caramel chews in my beer, as I call them. And this thing is not overly caramel. There's a little bit of booze in here. I just picked up on the booziness. I don't disclose the ABV on here. I think this is closer to 10%. I don't think it is 10%, but it's close to it, if I remember correct. I'm trying to wake up some of the aroma in here. It's like the bitterness is where the earthiness and that grassiness kind of comes in. And it's sharp, but for a double IPA, I mean, I just had what was called a hop bursted IPA. It wasn't even a double. And I feel like that beer was way more bitter than this beer was. However, my palate could be a little fried, so I don't know if that plays into it. But I get like the caramel undertone backbone. And then on top of that, you would rest the bitterness and the earthiness and the grassiness. I feel like the orange is playing with the malt backbone and giving it, I don't know, it's just kind of like, it gives it kind of a more candied caramel, kind of leaning more towards caramel candy, as opposed to just, you know, like the more malty, grainy caramel. It really kind of makes it taste like they put actual like caramel in here and didn't use just like caramel malt. And then like right on top, cherry on top of the beer, just that floral complexity. Really good beer, guys. A lot of things going on in here. I have recommended double IPAs before. I would recommend like the sweeter New England IPAs, double or single or triple or whatever, to you, if you were like, you know, you knew what to expect from an IPA, but you weren't like a connoisseur yet or an IPA enthusiast. Over this, a day one IPA drinker, that's just, well, it's more of a West Coast IPA anyways. So it's going to be a little dank. It's going to be a little more resiny, a little more earthy, a little more bitter. You're not going to get any of that like mango, pineapple, grapefruit, you know, the tropical citrusy stuff we all say we taste from hops, which we do. It's there. I don't mean to mock it. But this is an IPA lover's IPA. It just, everything you could appreciate about a beer, it's in here. You got very complex hop aroma and palate going on in here. And then you combine it with just a really solid, not overbearing addition of caramel hops. And it makes for quite a lovely beer. They claim this is their most requested beer, and it lives up to the hype. I mean, this is classic Alabama beer for you. Snake Handler from Good People. I mean, you know what, Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, Samuel Adams Boston Lager, Stone IPA, what those beers equate to the beer community nationally, I would put this up here as that, as it equates to Alabama. Up there with Monkey Knot from Straight to Ale, Snake Handler from Good People, Rebellion Lager from Yellowhammer, just the classic Alabama beers. I think Snake Handler's up there. It's a legend on its own from the Cotton State for sure. Did I already recommend stuff? This is an IPA enthusiast beer, guys, and it would be more for you West Coast fans. I wouldn't recommend this to like an IPA, a New England IPA fan. As far as the grade goes, is this still my favorite IPA of all time? No, it's not. I'm not really into West Coast IPAs. I respect them where they come from. I probably still review them and drink them. Just preferably not for me. Not what I'm going to grab if I need a quick brew off camera. However, I still love and appreciate everything that comes together in this beer. They take things that I don't like, hop bitterness and caramel malt, and they turn it into something that is quite enjoyable. I haven't even mentioned the finish. I got so wrapped up in the flavor profile. Wet finish, semi-drying on the end. Gets a little bit of astringency, and there is some booziness. Carbonation, fairly flat. I mean, it's just like the carbonation's on ICU, breathing machine. I mean, it's not flat, but the carbonation's in ICU unit for sure. That's a good thing for this beer. Don't need a lot of carbonation for an IPA. As far as the grade goes, I'm going to give it 4.25 out of 5. I can't quite give it an A rating. It's just a little bitter for me. I couldn't get the crackery notes. And I feel like the orange kind of fell behind on the palate as well. It just kind of muddles in there with the caramel. I could kind of tell it was there, but it was just really hard to grasp that orange. But yeah, that'll do it for me, guys. Good People, Snake Handler. Get you some of this if you live in Alabama and you love West Coast IPAs. Snake Handler, Good People, 4.25 out of 5. A really good double IPA. Till next time, guys. Cheers.